Study guide for day 48. Our test is scheduled to be for tomorrow. If you can do all of these concepts on this page, you'll do just fine on the test. Please remember, you don't have to do the video in order to answer these questions. This worksheet covers only stuff that we've already covered. And so if you can do these questions without the video, feel free to go ahead and try. It's just that if you do it without watching the video, we're not sure if your answers are right. And so when you turn it into the teacher, ask them to correct it and make sure that you're getting the right answers. It'd even be best if, after you do the first 10 problems, to check in with the teacher and have them go through and make sure that you're answering them correctly. Okay, let's go on here. Number 1, which way do longitude lines run? And question number 2 is, which way do latitude lines run? The way that I like to think about this is that the latitude lines are horizontal. They are like the rungs of a ladder. Latitude and ladder sound very similar, and the part of the ladder that we really use, that we really step on, are the horizontal rungs. And so the higher you are on the rungs, the more rungs you use, the higher you are off the ground. So with the lines of latitude, we have numbers off to the side of the map that number them, and the higher the numbers you get, the farther away from the equator you are. So rungs get you higher off the ground. Latitude, the higher numbers get you away from the equator up the map. So that is latitude, or like rungs of the ladder. Longitude are the other lines, lines of longitude. That has the word long in it. And the longest boards of a ladder are the vertical ones. So the longitude lines on a map go up and down. Let me try to draw a little map here. We have the United States, sort of something like this. And then we have England way over here. Okay, there is a line of longitude that runs through England, and we label that 0. And then we have a bunch more lines that run vertical. These are all lines of longitude. They run up and down, but they tell us how far west of England we are. So this would be 10 degrees, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. So this vertical line are all the points that are 10 degrees away from England. And then this line is all the points that are 30 degrees west of England. So even though the lines are north and south, up and down, they tell us how far west we are. And then, of course, there's a whole other set of lines over on the other side going on the east of England. Okay, so we have all these lines running across the top. Those are the lines of longitude. They tell us how far west of England we are, or how far east. Okay, latitude, like rungs of a ladder. They tell us how far north of the equator we are. So the equator may be way down here, and we have the lines running, or the numbers running along the side, and these tell us how far up away from the equator we are. Those are the lines of latitude. Okay, so let's apply all this knowledge to our worksheet. Number 1, which way do longitude lines run on a map? They run vertical. In other words, they go up and down. Up to down. Top to bottom. They go this way. Which way do latitude lines run on the map? They are the horizontal lines. In other words, they run left to right. They are the lines that go like this on the map. Number 3, Latitude, that's measured from the equator. 0 latitude is the equator, and as we get higher and higher numbers, we go farther and farther north or farther and farther south from the equator. Number 4, longitude is measured from the prime meridian. That's the line that goes through England. As we get bigger and bigger numbers, we get farther and farther away from England, either east or west. Number 5, when looking at the map, the numbers that go across the page go with that's what we mean by the numbers along the top. These are the lines of longitude. So number 5, when looking at a map, the numbers that go across the top of the page go with longitude lines. When looking at a map, the numbers that go down the side of the page, those are labeling latitude lines. Next, number 7, according to latitude, what hemisphere do you live in? Okay, here's the 0 latitude. Here's the United States. So we are north of the equator. We are in the northern hemisphere, according to latitudes. Number 7, northern. Number 8, according to longitude, what hemisphere do we live in? Okay, here's 0 longitude. We are on the west side of that. We are in the western hemisphere. So is South America and Central America, Canada, western hemisphere. Number 9, how many degrees is 7 degrees north, 16 degrees west from the prime meridian? Remember that the prime meridian is this one going up and down. And so if we're told that we are at 7 degrees north, 16 degrees west, see, we start off at the 0, 0, we go up 7 degrees, and then we go west 16 degrees. We're going to end up somewhere right around in there. So that would be 16 degrees west of the prime meridian. Number 9, that would be 16 degrees west. Number 10, how many degrees is 7 degrees north, 16 degrees west from the equator? So to plot this point, we went up 7 degrees before we went over. So this is 7 degrees from the equator. Number 10, 7 degrees. Number 12, which lines are used to divide the globe into time zones? Those are lines of longitude. Originally, every 15 degrees longitude was a separate time zone, but as politics got involved, they adjusted them this way and that way, depending upon which way the cities wanted to be or the countries. So now the lines of time zones are very zigzag, and they're not nice straight longitude lines. Number 13, which time zone do you live in? We live in the central time zone. Number 14, if it were 2 p.m. in Fox Lake, what time is it in the eastern time zone? Here's a map of the different time zones. Here's Fox Lake next to Chicago. We are in the central time zone. If we go to the right over to the eastern time zone, that's 1 step over. So we're going to add 1 hour to our time. So number 14, if it was 2 o'clock in Fox Lake, we add 1. It's going to be 3 p.m. in the eastern time zone. The eastern time zone includes things like New York City, Philadelphia, Chicago, Washington, D.C., all of Florida down here. Number 15. If it were 5 p.m. in Fox Lake, what time is it in the mountain time zone, such as Colorado, Wyoming, Arizona? Okay, here is the area for the mountain time zone. We are here, so going over to the mountain time zone is to the left one space, one time zone away. So going to the left is minus, and we're going over one step. So we're going to subtract off 1 hour from our time. So number 15, we're starting off at 5 p.m. in Fox Lake. Subtract off 1 hour, so that's 4 p.m. in all of the mountain zone. Number 16, if it were 5 in Fox Lake, what time is it in the Pacific time zone? The Pacific time zone is yet another step to the left. And so to find out the time there, we're going to subtract off 2 hours. So if it's 5 o'clock in Chicago and Fox Lake, subtract off 2 hours, it's going to be 3 p.m. over on the West Coast. How would you adjust the time if you leave Fox Lake and go to the Alaskan? Well, that's yet another hour, so it's only going to be 2 p.m. there. And number 18, in Hawaii, it's going to be yet another hour, 1 p.m. Number 19, what's the international date line? That's a line that goes basically down the Pacific, down the middle of the Pacific. It's a little zigzaggy, but basically down the middle. And as you cross that line, you change not only 1 hour, but you also change the date so that it's not Tuesday now, it's Wednesday. You change the clock hands 1 hour, but you change the day of the week 1 step as well. So you change the day and the hour. So on one side of the line, it's Tuesday. On the other side of the line, it's Wednesday. And that's the end of the first side of the page. Please go to the next video for the second side.